Okay, so I have never played What Remains of Edith Finch before. I know nothing about it. I've been told by Sailor Dan, who recommended this game, to avoid my normal gamer instincts and just kind of play the game. If it looks like it wants me to go somewhere, just go there. Don't like try to check every corner for secrets and things like that. Edith Finch. I wonder how I get to that object there. Ah, right trigger.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
I've heard good things about this game as well. It's very pretty.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
I'm going to turn the quality down a notch. Oh, this is interesting. Edith is the main character. When I heard the name of the game, I expected that she was going to be super old. Let's see if I can get slightly better frame rate from that.
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
I like the way they put the subtitles in the game like that. That's really cool.
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Probably turn that reticle off too. That was an option. Sometimes that can help with games like this. Sprint key, right? You can zoom in and look at stuff more closely. That's about it.
Even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to. The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent. As if they're about to say something, but never do.
You're a homeowner. I'd love to have an auto run button, auto lock. Then the game would just play itself and it would be a first-person movie. Right? Like gamer instinct says, go inspect
the way I'd been dreaming
truck.
about it.
Oh, that's a cool-looking house.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
Not just any homeowner. Milton Finch missing. Interesting. Lots of those.
Now, as a 17-year-old,
it's a homestead
I knew
house.
Exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house. I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't. Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
Hey, yeah, hun. Maybe it unlocks a back door. Not a garage.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
This game's cool so far.
For the first time in years, felt like I was home.
Good job making this place believably cluttered, too. I wonder if this is modeled off of a real house.
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
Lewis Finch, November 21st, 2010. So that's not the same as Milton. It said was missing.
Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot. Or how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly. The table was still a wreck from the night we left.
Too. We didn't
It was like a
model
bomb had
several
gone off,
tables.
killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
This game does an interesting thing where it hijacks your camera control, like the right stick automatically points somewhere, and I really appreciate that. Especially when there's text to read, it does that. I don't think I've ever played a first-person game that uses that technology in
Nothing in the house
exploration
looked
content
abnormal.
like this.
There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
Yeah, those situations are frustrating, right? It's like one shot in Undertale. It's its own thing.
Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house. Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit. A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
That's cool. I can actually see my feet. That's unusual.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Whoa. That's pretty crazy. This door here. It's all cocked shut. Interesting. Hey, alright, so we had a grandma or a grandpa staying here with us.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Huh. That's what these are. That's super creepy.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
That's so weird. Not right here. Does this game take place in Washington State? 76 to 77.
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
That's creepy. Right. Sometimes you get some cool storytelling revelations as a result of technological limitations.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up. Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
That's cool. That's what it locked? Interesting.
My mom was really good at keeping secrets.
That's
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
pretty rad. That's extremely rad.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me. Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan.
Interesting. Yeah, it may not have been a limitation. Obviously, like, they could render all these rooms. It rendered the house, right? I'm just saying that in general, it's if that is in fact the case, that they didn't want to render every possible room, but they still wanted to show a size of scale,
But I
it
had
still
no
adds
idea
something
what
cool
was
to the
behind
story.
that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead. I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole.
A little sick.
Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
That's cute.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
Pretty Rapunzel, yeah. Molly Finch.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner.
Oh,
I woke
cool.
up and I was
Mid-game
starving,
flashbacks.
so I looked around for something to eat.
That's cool.
The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
That's dark.
Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
That's incredibly creepy. This was in 1947, I think it said. I know, right?
My Halloween candy was all gone.
Can't get the... Hey.
I kept eating and eating.
Wow.
I ate a lot of things that night.
I like that the I-8 was pre-written there. Oh, like the screen? I can try to fix the gamma one. It's an option. I can't change the gamma settings? Oh, here we go. I try to max it out on stream. That was just the default setting with people at different monitors, so... Oh, wow, that's way too bright. Let's do a happy medium there. Let's try. She's eating all
Then
these
I
things
heard
in the
chirping
house.
outside my window.
Please
It
don't
was a
kill the
barn
bird.
swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
Huh. Like I actually am a cat here. It's cool.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
I really want to play that Kowloon Wall City cat game if it ever actually gets finished.
I jumped and I almost got her.
I like the changing perspective stuff. I wasn't expecting that.
I could tell she was getting really tired.
I think I saw it go back up here. There it is.
Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard...
It's hallucinating from eating all those
Then I heard little
plastic
teeth
berries.
wiggling in the grass.
This is awesome. I love the shifting perspectives here.
Rabbits.
There's one. That's cool. Use the text to help you find it. Gotcha. Yeah, the controls are really cool. It's very well done.
Space looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. And then I flew off to find something bigger.
Yeah, like, it's really good at the portal funneling thing where I press in the right stick, or the
I'm a
right
rabbit.
trigger. I'm a rabbit. Using the text as a way to point me where I should be looking is pretty rad.
She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Whoa! That's crazy. Having this crazy fever dream.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever.
This is not where sharks live.
I wanted fat, juicy seals. I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
It's like you know exactly what to do, even though they give you a lot of freedom in these segments.
But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
Oh, cool.
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
Cool. I was not expecting the shifting monster animal perspectives. It's really neat.
I was big, but I moved real quiet.
Like how it's getting progressively more
Stop,
crazy.
But also, I didn't.
I love framing this as a hallucinating, hungry child, too. This is the true meaning of something. I like that we can't see the monster either, we just see this tentacle.
After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
Oh god. Oh, could we
I
not be
got
climbing
closer
out of
and closer.
toilets? That's pretty trippy. Oh man, and the controls slowed way down as soon as I got in here. Whew.
All my stomach started growling,
Oh, my stomachs.
and suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be
so good. Wow. Really good voice acting, too. That was crazy.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Okay. Cool. Saw it in the corner there, right? Can't get 37 to 47. She died when she was 10. They all died super young, it looked like. Showed their age on
This would
the
be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories.
doors.
Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
Lurking. She sealed them all shut, right?
Her room was like a museum.
That's what she's doing.
For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune. And misfortune.
Yeah, Molly's mom had a Norwegian accent, it sounded like.
Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family
Odin.
curse. His wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind.
They brought the house with them? Wow. It seems like they were just building extra rooms every time they had to permanently seal a room forever to seal in the memories of the dead person.
But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island.
Is that a real island? I've never heard of it before.
Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house. Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
It's a cool way to show your progression in the family tree there. They found the Northern Passage, right? It's a lot of medicine. Sven Finch.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long time. Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious. Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones. Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him.
Second, sorry. He died a little bit older than a lot of these kids, it seems like. Sven Edie. Doors also sealed like the rest of them. I think that's everything there is to do in this room.
Even in
Wait,
her
there you go.
90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother. The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife, Kay, left on the house was the pink bathroom.
Okay, so it opens all the little padlocks on the books. That's interesting.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look.
That's
It isn't in
awesome.
the cupboard.
Come on. I think I have to press a button on there.
It's
There we
hidden
go.
in this book.
Whoa! That's gnarly cool. It's
Sven gave Sam an old
dark
camera
room?
he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
it's pretty awesome. Milton. What a sensible way to explore a house. Fort Sam. Fort Calvin. The rope.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
These rooms are really well designed too. Got a lot of stuff in them. Like they're cluttered, but it feels like there's purpose behind it. They're just randomly putting crap everywhere.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
Cool. It's too bad they didn't let me control Odin Finch drowning with his house.
My brother
Gotta
said,
put out
"Eat
your other
that
leg,
before you
kid."
eat another mushroom." And he did.
Both legs, kid, what the hell? You're doing it wrong. I'm scrambling to press buttons to do that right. Oh, you actually have to use both sticks?
At
Okay, I thought it was just the
barbecue,
kid being
we swore
stupid.
We'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Oh, here.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible.
This is,
Maybe if I hadn't said that.
there is a Nickelodeon kid that turned inside out by going all the way around.
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up.
Oh, God.
Maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt.
So, the way this is constructed,
I think he'd already made up his mind.
great at building dread while you're controlling it.
That's what I want to remember about my brother.
Whew. Very uncomfortable, right?
The day he made up his
Oh,
mind to
God.
fly. And he did.
Wow. Shit, man. This family.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
But I didn't go flying off the edge and die. Yeah.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
That's cool. Samuel Finch. I think there's still something over there.
Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Interesting. Yeah. I certainly have. Cool. This game's way cooler than I was expecting. I thought from the name Edith that it was going to be
The
about...
passages were a pretty tight fit.
I guess it is kind of about a sad
They'd
old
obviously
woman.
been built for smaller hands
Sad
and
old
bellies.
family. I wasn't expecting the crazy secret passage house.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
She's like Shirley Temple.
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
Right.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Oh, creepy.
Oh, Jack here.
America's most
Another
unfortunate
ghastly
family.
Tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to
God.
be rushed to the emergency room.
It's very Tales from the
So
Crypt.
Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter.
It's the point where I wonder if that's actually the Crypt Keeper's voice actor. Crypt Keeper's voice actor.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding
We know where that is.
until finally the key pops out.
That's
babe.
cool.
I'll be back in a sec.
We've already seen that music box.
20 minutes
Job,
later,
Ian.
Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue.
That's not actually the Crypt Keeper, right?
The music box.
Just making sure it's clear. That's cool. They put me in control of that.
And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
It's a pretty solid impression if it's not in.
Rick?
She found Rick's crutch.
Putting you in control of the
and
camera
imagined
is
the worst.
super cool. Yeah, this is great.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
It's just a teensy bit creepy. I like how it still has a comic book style.
And grew still.
Oh dear!
Oh!
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Yeah.
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Oh dear. Trip and fall, right?
Walter, are you there?
Oh dear.
Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Oh
I
god.
returned, saw the hook man, and...
The Tales of the Crypt thing
He was
makes it
quite smashing.
less terrifying.
And he was. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
It's not the window.
Night. She played her part beautifully. She thought about abandoning Walter, but just couldn't do it. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years.
Hadn't been cocked yet.
Row.
Their boyfriend the whole time.
Moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
Gotta go finish him off. I love how different these are. Like the little hungry girl, comic book, kid on the swing. Really got some.
Had vanished.
Oh, great.
She listened for his breathing.
Fantastic.
All she heard was...
Fantastic.
At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her.
That's such a Tales of the Crypt.
Dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter? Hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, But that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Wow. It's pretty wild. I like that they
Edie told me
saved
all
that.
Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Completely ruined the mood of the bad pun. Alright, so now I gotta go back out to find the,
I guess
music
now I know why
box.
Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Swear it.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara. Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
Makes sense why they would do that.
It's funny.
It's Calvin
All
and
those times I
Sam.
played with the music box and never found the basement key.
Yeah, I might get Andrea to play this too.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
The music box, I think, is downstairs. I don't actually remember where it was in the story. I'll find it. Don't worry. It wasn't this way, right? This is where we first started. Yeah, the key with the 1,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Never want to live here ever. Yeah, right. Look at more of these peepholes. I guess I can't do all of them. See a blood stain, so who knows if the ear part is true. I definitely like this as a video game. Like, I think it could maybe work as a mini-series or a short movie, but a lot of it is the variable control styles, like being able to control the character during the comic book and controlling the cat jumping from tree to tree. Like, I think that adds a lot to it.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
Makes sense from what I see down here.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
Yeah, like being in control of
I thought maybe she was
swinging
hiding presents.
added a lot to the swinging sequence, right? You can watch a kid and hear a dreadful dialogue about them going over the top, but when you're the one actually pressing the sticks, it feels pretty intense.
It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
It's super dark down here.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could.
Whoa. Got like a bomb shelter.
If there's a
down here.
pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Thanks, camera. Looking out. None of us have gotten far.
Goodbye, everyone.
You got
I
older.
can't believe I've been down here for 30 years.
Wow. That's crazy. The whole
On that first
time.
day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane.
I think it's
Having a
possible.
schedule,
A lot of
even
those
for today.
bomb shelters
I
have
always expected to be
lots
dead
and lots and
tomorrow.
lots and lots and lots of food.
But if you wait
Maybe
long
they get
enough,
stuck.
you'll be used to anything.
Seeing the calendar in the corner there. Just keep opening
Even a
cans.
monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
Yeah, I thought he was here alone. It's possible. It's all just canned peaches.
And then one day, everything just
Wow.
stopped.
It's almost worse that he was down there for so long.
Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe
I wonder if there's
that's
some kind of hidden theme to all these characters' deaths.
Maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
I don't think it's something as simple as like the 7 deadly sins or something, but
It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can.
Cool. I love that, just eating peaches every day as we cut forward in time.
I know it's out there somewhere. Whatever
Yeah.
killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin.
He gets an entity? That's interesting.
Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me.
That's cool. The word as he breaks it.
Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food.
Did he actually get out?
I don't mind if I only have a year left. Or a month. Or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Of course, that happened. Poor guy.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't
Yeah,
believe my
as
mom
soon as you
never
see the
told
train
me
tracks, you're
anything
like,
here.
here's how he's gonna die. That's crazy. Wow, had a look on him. We just saw him as a little kid in the barber section.
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
Maybe he didn't really get hit by a train.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding.
No kidding.
I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe 2, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
Could see that being a thing. Yeah, right? There doesn't seem to be a train. It's
I
interesting.
don't know if I should even be writing this.
Another train. Right. That'd be a great, like, this thing leads you to believe that you're going to explore the whole family, and it would be kind of cool if they got you for gamifying it, right? I'm sure we
Maybe
will
it'd be
explore
better
the
if
whole
all this
family.
just died with me.
It'd be a great way to do a surprise.
But I thought you should know about your family.
Your family.
And the history you're a part of.
It's a cool concept. Like, there's a lot you can do with the I get it effect in video games, where you kind of realize where the developer's going with something, and it would be really neat to play a game that tries to create that expectation and then subvert it. Oh, I'd be so down with it. One sec, I'm gonna...
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
fix something real quick.
I think the people in these stories believed them, for
Right.
what that's worth.
Depends on how you execute it, for sure. I don't think every game needs to do that. Like, there's a reason we have certain tropes, especially in gaming. Yeah, exactly. I think I've played some games before that have...
Had that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness.
used the menu screen to
it
make you
seems
think the game was going to go on longer. Or shorter than it actually was. They tricked you with the menu layout. This one's pretty established, though, I think. Like, find out about everybody's name. Right? We're going the other way. This one.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
A cursed one. Yeah,
It's
established throughout the
embarrassing
genre.
for me to admit
right?
this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one.
That's a
3
lot
of
of
the gerbils
pets.
were mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Good God. Zerpy, Lurpy, Furpy, Chirpy, Burpy, Derpy, Derpy Jr.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery. I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
That's crazy. Like how you can always see it in the distance, even from the beginning of the game. I wonder what it is at first.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand.
Family needs to seek help.
But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was
Is
coming
this path always here? I guess the game's just really good at drawing me where I'm supposed to go, not letting me go around the corner.
Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
Gregory, Sam, and Gus.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
Sanjay Kumar. On the list here? Sanjay is an extra leaf off in the distance. Interesting.
We never found Milton's body, so my mom insisted we were putting up a monument, not a tombstone.
Interesting. Gonna find Milton at the end.
There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday. and find everything out for myself. But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Whoa! What a great way to build dread about what I'm currently doing. Good God. She is narrating it though, so she's still alive, right? I guess you could see the shadow of her baby bump during that. That was pretty awesome. Very clever. You look down, you can see her belly. Yeah, I suppose that's true. I just didn't process it. So I was like, that's a weird character model. Why is no one with you?
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
Yeah, I couldn't tell that that's what that was. It's interesting. I thought it was just a janky first-person animation.
They were both pretty intense.
Sam. PTSD, maybe?
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm?
Perfect.
Am I gonna have to shoot anything? It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it?
That's cool.
I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
Cool.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. The camera's older than you are.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still
Aw.
freezing, though.
I like how they use focus here to tell you what you're supposed to be looking at,
I
right?
should not have drunk all that coffee. Hey!
That's a keeper. Hold still while I take a picture of you.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years.
I really love the variety. I keep saying this, but the different segments all feel really
Last
unique.
time I was with my brother,
Also
Calvin.
connecting to the main narrative.
Man, that was a great trip.
It's sort of like jazz punk in that respect, that it's
Grandpa
almost
Sven
like
taught
they're-
us how to fish.
Dad!
Good eyes, Dawn.
it's almost like they're trying to figure out what they can do with this
Take the shot,
engine,
let me get a
right?
picture of it.
Where is she? I like how there's kind of a
Dad,
filter you can use to tell.
Just let me get behind you.
Which character is taking the picture, right?
Do I have to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong.
Whew.
Great shot, Dawn!
Great shot. It's a selfie.
I'm proud of you, Dawn.
Oh, that's
Always
cool.
remember that, okay?
Wow. That's awesome.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally normal, Dawn.
Putting me in control of
Just
him there.
focus on the camera. Try not to think about.
Dad!
Oh no! Whoa! Wow. That was awesome. And it wasn't awesome, but it was very
Of
well
all these
executed.
stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
I sure did.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
Yeah. This game is great. This game is cool.
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
No joke. How do they earn money? It's just all old money. Pacific Northwest old money problems.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
These like indie games with a teenage girl protagonist take place in the Pacific Northwest and be somewhat privileged. Gregory, that's sad. Force contract, Sam.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
That's cool. Baby in the tub. There we go. Oh, I control the frog now. I'm imagining, presumably. Check the baby's pregnant.
It's over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie.
About to drown in the tub.
Hello?
Text on the side there.
Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what
It's a video game.
What his world was like. You reminded me so much of Calvin.
Is this the meaning of frog fractions? Whoa, they're gonna help me get up there and drown
Lost his
myself.
imagination. Whatever it was, he saw.
It's like clearly, I've been playing the game long enough to know what I need to do to kill myself here, right? Could use some music in this section too. I see. Thank you, game.
I know how silly it sounds. But I'm worried about a baby being too happy. But I feel we're slipping away.
Bubble bath, right?
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
Yep.
I wish he could have told us about the world we saw.
The dread in this section. This only would have worked as like the 6th or 7th kid that dies in the game, right?
There's so much I don't understand about Gregory,
Wow.
about everything.
That's awesome. Oh, this is so dark. Finally, a game that kills children and does it artistically. Let's go down into the drain. Wow, with all the little toys.
And he'd want you to be happy too.
That sequence was sweet. It was super dark and sad, but that was so well executed. Hooray! 1 year, bummer. What's up with Dawn's bed?
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not
Edith.
very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
That's cool. Reading the text.
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
Like how they introduced this concept earlier.
I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her. We don't need a stepmom, were the words that I
now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
It's cool. You hear that in the distance.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger.
So you're letting him just having fun over here, but they're giving you something to do in the meantime.
Panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Dive bombing immediately.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
Yeah, this reminds me of Lost
I wish
Odyssey.
that I could truly say I thought about him that day.
Someone made a game entirely out of the
alone.
Lost
Just
Odyssey
you, the
stories.
wind, the sea and foam.
They're about that level of sad.
But I didn't. Until we found you.
Oh, little Gus.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Sweet trash, mop the yard. Greg, be a baby. Interesting.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died.
Great.
At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
She's preggers.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad,
Dawn and Sanjay. Interesting. Edith was part Indian. Fly to India. 10 ways to teach critical thinking. Who's gonna say free will? Who's gonna stop her? Right. I think that's all there is to do here. I don't know what I would do heading outside though. Yeah, was there something else to do up there? I thought the fact that there was a Fireman's Pole thought I was done, but I can go back and check. Sam wasn't alone, I guess. Her struggling to climb up here is very distressing. I didn't see anything else up here. Oh, here we go. Window, thank you.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again.
I really like the way they created that mystery with Sanjay. See, Finch, Sanjay? Huh.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Family history, fact or fiction. Homeschooled kids, great. If you were homeschooled, good for you.
But it didn't last.
So it's a rectangles and squares thing. Not all homeschooled kids are from weird families and are weird themselves, but many weird families do so.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday.
I think they're just like super
when
old
Edie
money
gave
from
him a castle.
Odin. If he had enough money to bring a house on a boat, right?
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Interesting. That's safe. Let's find out about Milton.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Oh, it's a flip book? That's cool. That's cool, I can change the speed at which it's going. Interesting. Old game from the same developer Milton is a reference to.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
His face looks pretty different. It's cool.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house,
See you, so
Mom
Dan.
didn't want it getting out.
Veteran. Enjoying this game very much. The searchlights kind of draw your attention over there too. That's cool. You might have been able to go this way the first time, but the game just kind of draws your attention with words to keep you from straying
Mom
off the
definitely
path.
blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
Right. Mention that earlier.
Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except Lewis.
a pretty different... Oh god. Please don't fall and die.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on. Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them.
Could be her very
He
long
died a
one.
lot.
It's like a wonder swan. Diploma, high school.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
He had never noticed it before.
He kept working at the cannery. But he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior.
I think he just did weed.
His mind began to wander.
Oh, cool.
I asked him to describe it.
I'm using the same controls for
Started
this.
small,
I'm controlling
imagining a labyrinth.
the labyrinth on the right at the same time as I handle the fish.
He'd feel his way about.
That's awesome.
Then something moved.
So left stick, right stick.
And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more.
Used to do this in my old job. Very rote.
I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis.
I love how easy it is to do both of these, even though it's
So I let
two
him
very
go on.
different things. Just do the fish and peripheral vision, basically.
I even encouraged him.
Oh man.
It
His,
seemed very promising at first.
Imagination's getting more and more complicated. It started as just black walls. This is awesome.
On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia.
Got his hand out, right?
He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
It's like
And
less
songs
and
for him
less
to play.
restricted the longer we're doing it too, right?
He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something.
Yeah, I love this.
Every day his imagination grew stronger.
You can see it take up more and more of the screen every
He no
time,
longer
right?
spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
The way this is expanding.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality.
These kinds of jobs, I kind of enjoy being able to retreat into my head like this. I used to write Dungeons and Dragons stuff.
Even as his mother pleaded
with him,
part of Lewis kept sailing on.
That's crazy.
In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a...
That's cool, let me choose that.
Beautiful prince. The prince was on his own quest for... radiant rainbows. He followed the sound of his
electric sitar.
Electric sitar.
I think this is my favorite one so far. They've all been really cool.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound.
It's the whole screen, but it's so... It is actually muscle memory for me now to do these fish. The game was originally first person, so kind of
but he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater
right.
than
You see exactly where it's heading.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
I know, right? Whoa. Why did he need drugs to begin?
He began to forget the world we know.
Wow, this place is so grim looking.
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
Wow.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Looking in on himself.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
Oh. This game is just absurdly well executed.
Insisted on advising him.
It is correct. The blood slowly gave way to red carpet. It's pretty good. Pretty perfect
His
emote.
prince waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do.
Oh God.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
That was fucking incredible. Ooh, I got chills from that sequence. Wow. That's the best one. I mean, maybe they can top it,
My
but
brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
that one was really good. Should have been conscious for a few moments. Whew. Because she spent more time on him because she knew him pretty well, it seems like.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing.
We
She
saw
waited
the
until the day
Lewis
before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
I see.
I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left.
Edith, Mom.
My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
Does it say Sanjay? Sanjay Kumar Disaster Relief. Interesting.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
She's been sitting here writing it the whole time. Would be the perfect ending that they've established so far.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present.
This could be Grandma Edie, right?
Why don't you go open
Not
it?
the main character.
The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance, or that Edie had a key to it.
I think it's about to happen. I think that's what they're saving Edith Finch grandma for last.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Remains of Edith Finch. she in the
Dear
nursing home?
There's so many stories I wish I could tell you.
Fish and money stopped flowing.
There's
They ran out of
only
money.
time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years.
So you gotta check out the house.
It smelled awful. No, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it.
That's cool.
When the fog rolled in,
I can smell it
lost
too.
my way.
It's cool with the text floating at
I
you
got
there.
turned around.
The text is literally turning me around.
For a while, I wandered. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the band came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot.
Reminds me of Big Fish, kinda.
We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by.
I like how your hand outside a car window is trying to make the best of it. It's very true.
My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive.
She got a baby.
Until I found out about you.
The controller is like rumbling on a very
I'm still
set
not sure what to
pattern
tell
here.
you about all this.
If you play this, I recommend doing it with a controller.
If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you.
Her baby?
But now I hope you'll never see it.
Oh, I am the baby.
I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now,
Uterine contractions.
things didn't work out that way.
Aww. The baby's what remains of Edith Finch. That was a tasteful way to do that sequence.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm
Whole
gone.
game wasn't
I
encapsulated.
want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
That's wild. What a perfect ending. 2017. Yep, that was the correct way for that to end. That was awesome. Whew. I got the frisson chills all through my body. What a excellently executed game. Very precise. House belongs in a museum. Well, that's a cute idea to go with. Kid pictures of the people on the team that made it. Achievement unlocked. The end of everything. It's a pretty small team. I feel like the length is pretty perfect too. It's about as long as a movie. That'd be good. I wonder if there's significance to that. Hey, he's playing Pokemon Yellow. Achievement unlocked. Thanks, Johan. It's a little achievement picture that looks like the picture we just saw on the screen there. .2D artist. The baby one was pretty good, but I think the Lewis one was the best little vignette. Soundtrack was really good too. Just good sound design in general. It's a very emotional game. Like, on the one hand, the extent to which this family is unfortunate is, like, borderline comical, but it manages to roll with that, I think. Little girl starving to death was pretty sad. It's a good way to do the playtesters there. Yeah, it's at 2.5, so I don't know. I think she died from eating the berries. I see. The end. Play a story option is now available. Select Edith, play from the beginning. I feel like it should fill in her death date there at the top. Cool. I'm going to take a short break to run to the restroom, and then we will start Gone Home. Thank you, future Sailor Dan, watching this VOD, for sharing this game. We'll be back soon.